Now at 6 and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, a man faces 5 charges after his arrest by Victoria police. The Victoria Fire Department responded to a house fire Thursday afternoon. And B County starts an investigation into a deadly grain elevator collapse.
We had some really nice showers around the area today, kept our temperature in the 80s. There's a whole lot of stuff out in the Gulf. We'll talk about whether or not it's coming toward our area. That coming up.
And the athlete of the week is from the sausage capital of Texas, also known as my hometown. That's coming up in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker. Karina Garcia has the night off. Early Tuesday morning, Victoria police arrested 55-year-old Creighton Kelly in the 200 block of East Water Street. Authorities say Kelly got into an argument with a neighbor. He showed a knife and then stabbed the neighbor's dog. Kelly was taken into custody and faces 5 charges. The Victoria Fire Department responded to a house fire around 1 p.m. Thursday afternoon. Battalion Chief Allen said that an electrical box in the backyard had caught fire, but that it was put out and was contained. There were no injuries, and AEP responded as well to secure power to the house. In Hallettsville, police arrested 45-year-old Joshua Michael Bryan of Terrell at a traffic stop on the 2800 block of U.S. Highway 77 South. Bryan, a convicted felon, was found to have a loaded Tech-9 handgun. Bryan arrested for felon and possession of a firearm and booked into the Lavaca County Jail. Late Wednesday night, an 18-wheeler caught fire at a truck stop in Wharton County. Authorities report the fire was put out, but the truck's cab is a total loss. The truck driver is okay. The situation could have been worse considering how close the truck was to the fuel pumps. The Victoria ISD announced the opening for the District 2 school board member seat following the resignation of Estela de los Santos. The Victoria ISD Board of Trustees inviting interested and eligible individuals residing within District 2 to submit their applications for consideration. The application process opened at noon today, and the deadline for application submission is Thursday, July 20th at noon. Interested individuals can obtain the application form from the Victoria ISD website at visd.net/board-elections. The VISD Board of Trustees will review all applications and appoint a District 2 trustee at the special called board meeting scheduled for July 25th. The B County Sheriff's Department investigating the grain elevator in Tynan that collapsed, killing 1 person and injuring 2 others. KIII reports an eyewitness to Tuesday's collapse told investigators that one of the 3 victims was on top of the grain silo, while the other 2 were on the ground. As a result of the collapse, 37-year-old Sergio Jason Alvarez died. Ben Mengers and Andres Martinez were injured and are in the hospital. Authorities say they are investigating the collapse as an accident. And now let's take a first look at your forecast. Here's First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Perez. Mac, I couldn't believe it, man. When was the last time we had some measurable rain around here? That looked good.
It seems like, I don't know, I was a little boy back then. And finally, yes, we did get some much needed rainfall around the area. Certainly the cloud cover also helped knock the temperature down. We got about 1/3 of an inch at the airport. Other areas got about 1/2 inch. So you know, can we do this again? Well, the answer is yes, because now we have all this moisture in the air. With a little bit of heating tomorrow afternoon, we're going to see a few more showers, but after that's gone, oh boy, well, we're heading back to another heat wave, and we'll be having all the sorry facts coming up in just a moment. Don, back to you.
Mac, thank you. Houston police say a man who was reported missing as a teenager in 2015 returned home the next day. But he and his mother deceived officers by giving false names over the ensuing 8 years. Prosecutors have declined to bring false report charges against Janie Santana and her son, Rudy Farias.
From a distance, neighbors took video of Rudy Farias' mother loading up a car in her driveway Tuesday night.
When he first went missing, he didn't report it to the police, and they're trying to say that he might have done some crimes, which he didn't. And now they want to arrest me because they said I was hiding him.
Her 25-year-old son vanished 8 years ago at age 17.
It's just we've always, in our hearts, knew that he wasn't really missing.
During those 8 years, his cousin Cassandra Lopez says she called 911 in 2018 after family members saw Farias at his mother's home. She says their grandmother told her she spoke with Rudy often.
And how did those conversations go when she would talk about Rudy?
She would just say, I saw Rudy, you know, he came to check on me, and, you know, we just said hello and have their little conversation. She never went into detail, but she would say she saw him.
HPD says officers responded but didn't find him. Neighbors tell me Farias has been living with his mother this entire time, but they know him by the name Dolph. Did you ever notice anything suspicious over there?
No, like when he talked to us, he doesn't like say too much on who he really is. We just know that he lives down here with his mom. He goes to work with her like around 6 p.m. to like maybe 7 or 8 in the morning. And he just been freely walking down the streets.
Neighbors shared this text message appearing to show a conversation between Farias' mother and the neighbor where she identifies herself as Dolph's mom. Lopez hopes Farias is safe enough to tell his story.
I mean, half of his life is almost, or a quarter of his life's already been taken away from him. You know, it's just not right. He didn't deserve that. Nobody deserves that.
She says it's only a matter of time before the truth comes out.
And now the truth is out. And now here's your viewer poll this evening. Scan the QR code on your screen to vote now. Here's the question. Should there be charges filed in the case of Rudy Farias? Yes, no, or there should be more investigation first. Let's look at the numbers. 33% of the voters say yes. 0% no, 67% want more investigation first. We thank you for voting. We want to hear your opinion. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part, and we'll have an update on 25 News now at 10. The man who killed 23 people at a Walmart in El Paso in 2019 could still face the death penalty. 24-year-old Patrick Crusius pleaded guilty in February to 90 federal murder and hate crime charges. In the coming days, he's expected to be given up to 90 consecutive life sentences. But in the state case, prosecutors still seeking the death penalty. Crusius has pleaded not guilty to a state charge of capital murder of multiple persons. Victim impact statements continued Thursday in the sentencing phase of the federal case. OceanGate, the owner of the submersible that imploded during a voyage to the Titanic, says it has suspended its exploration and commercial operations. All 5 people on board the Titan submersible, including OceanGate CEO Stockton Rush, were killed in the implosion last month. The Titan was about an hour and 45 minutes into a planned dive to reach the remains of the Titanic when it lost contact with its mothership on June 18th. Honda recalling more than 124,000 vehicles over a potential issue with their brake systems. The vehicles have a loose fastener that connects the brake booster and the brake master cylinder, which potentially could cause the brakes to lose function. The models include some Civic models, Ridgelines, Passport, Pilot, and Acura MDX vehicles. Affected owners will be able to have their vehicles inspected and repaired free of charge at Honda dealerships. Texas' strict abortion law that took effect in 2021 may have led to nearly 10,000 more births than expected in the last 9 months of 2022. That's according to research published in the journal JAMA. The study found that from April to December of 2022, the first months that would have reflected the effects of the ban, there were about 297,000 total births. That's roughly 3% more than the 287,000 that would have been expected without the law. Pack the Bus registration is underway for children in need of school supplies. You can register online at myfcc.com/packthebus. Volunteers will distribute supplies on Saturday, August 5th at Faith Family on Mockingbird. For questions about registration, stop by Faith Family Church Monday through Thursday from 9 a.m. to noon or contact Stephanie Cadengo at 361-573-2484. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Then you can get on Crossroads Today on YouTube. And stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 6, Twitter has new competition for social media users. Also ahead, Wednesday was the hottest day ever on Earth, tying the previous record set way back on Tuesday.
Fentanyl crisis, unmasking the deadly wave. Join 25 News Now weekend anchor Adam Seibel for a 25 News Now Extra, Thursday, July 13th at 10 p.m. We focus on the alarming rise of the deadly drug fentanyl.
What you know about fentanyl is probably maybe 10% of the reality.
Fentanyl is easy to make and cheap to get, and it has flooded communities across the United States, leaving a trail of devastation in its wake. Don't miss this eye-opening extra that could save lives.
Grants full approval to the Alzheimer's drug Leqembi. It's a landmark decision for the first medicine proven to slow the course of the memory-robbing disease. Full approval prompts the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services to change how it covers the drug, broadening access for up to about 1 million people with early onset Alzheimer's. Without insurance, it costs more than $26,000 a year. With Twitter steeped in controversy since Elon Musk's takeover, Facebook parent company Meta has officially launched Threads. The app is designed to compete head-to-head with Twitter, and it's off to a strong start.
It's been talked about for months. Now, Meta's challenge to Twitter is here. Facebook's parent company launched Threads on Wednesday. Bridget Carey, CNET's consumer tech and trends expert, says the objective of real-time conversations is the same, but it's too soon to tell whether Threads will topple Twitter.
It's still the early days. It's not exactly the same as Twitter. There are a lot of things we're going to have to get used to, and there are different communities on each.
It appears the Threads app, available in 100 countries, is off to a fast start. Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg posting on his verified account that Threads saw 30 million signups by Thursday morning. Meta's numbers may be its biggest advantage at launch. Users sign up using their Instagram account, and there are more than 2 billion active Instagram users around the globe. Twitter's active user base is currently around 250 million and has taken a hit amid the turmoil since Elon Musk's takeover last October.
To be a really successful social media company right now, It needs to be a place that's safe, a place that is trusted, that you are trusting what you're seeing online. And it needs to be a place that is just easy to use and useful.
Just within the last week, Twitter has imposed temporary limits on how many tweets its users are able to read in the app and announced users will soon need to pay if they want to use TweetDeck, a popular monitoring tool.
Record heat continues across the globe. The average world temperature on Wednesday tied the new record set the day before, 62.92 degrees Fahrenheit. That's according to the U.S. National Centers for Environmental Prediction. Scientists say we are likely to see several more record temps as we enter the El Nino weather pattern. El Nino has a warming effect, but Mac, does El Nino also bring rain?
Well, it depends on where you are in terms of El Nino, but what we did know is that with an El Nino up in the northern hemisphere, we were going to get warmer temperatures. Of course, the atmosphere is being loaded up with carbon dioxide every day. That adds to the heat. We've been talking about this for 20 years, but nobody was listening. Hopefully now they'll realize that the Earth really is hurting, and every day, especially now, I mean, July to maybe August, we're going to be hitting new records in uncharted territories. Today we had at least a little cloud cover and rain was very nice, and we got 1/3 of an inch. We're going to get a little bit more tomorrow. We'll be talking more about that, and of course the eventual heat wave. All that coming up in a moment. Welcome back, everybody. It's 86 degrees right about now. The clouds and the rain were real nice there for a while, and some of you might have gotten wet shoes out of this, but hey, it's okay, you know. I mean, our high temperature today, only 87. I mean, sounds delightful, doesn't it? 87 compared to our average of 94. And July is hot, and August is hot. So we've got 2 more months to get through this entire summer. And since the global temperature, what Don was talking about was the Earth's temperature. In other words, you take everything, add it all up, and then divide it, and you get the mean temperature. And that was never before as warm. Places like the Arctic Circle, supposed to be cold, right? Well, no, they're getting into the 90s now. So all of that's part of the atmosphere and the world basically warming up. These are the high temperatures around today. Very appreciating. 85 in Rockport, as you see right there. 87 Victoria and 87 in Gonzales. These are the temperatures courtesy of the cloud cover and the rain. Now tomorrow we're going to have a repeat. You can see all the temperatures along the coast right about here are going to be, you know, not bad for this time of year. You know, 93 for us, that's pretty good. And that's, of course, because we expect more of this activity to roll in. Where did it come from? Big surge of tropical moisture in the Gulf. We were tracking it for the last 2 days coming up from the Bay of Campeche. It is now off the Texas coast, and we had one band come through, and it was very nice. Now, here's the funny part. There's still a whole bunch of stuff out there. You can see all the cloud cover and the moisture. In fact, you know, this is all enough to get a little bit more rain. Now, we've got enough instability and moisture to trigger more activity tomorrow. Unfortunately, this thing is going to stay out in the Gulf and start turning sort of in that direction toward Louisiana. So I wish I could tell you it was coming on shore. We'd get a lot of rain out of it, but we've got another day or so of the rain. Here's a close-up look, and you can see how if you look at it right along the coast, it's really not coming ashore. It's basically going to stay out there. With a bit of heating up here, we could pull it in, but I think that tomorrow we'll see a little bit of shower activity, not as much as today, and then on Saturday we get even less. And the reason for that is over there. You see that big high? Well, while we were basking in the little cloud cover today, Arizona and New Mexico are baking. Of course, it's a dry heat over there, and this thing is going to be spreading back into our region. So we've got showers tomorrow and then decreasing, a couple of storms coming around the top of it. But as this high pressure system expands over us, we've got another heat wave for you next week. I know you didn't want to hear that, but that's kind of where we're at. Along the Pacific, there are 2 storms, hurricanes, that are going to develop off the Pacific. Now, normally they go out to sea and not a problem. When they turn and they come up the Sea of Cortez here, the Gulf of California, we get a lot of moisture out into West Texas. And so I have to watch that very carefully because those thunderstorms then start drifting toward us. Hard to believe that something out in the Pacific can affect us. Well, let's take a look at, well, it's a fish. I know it looks like a fish, but I'll talk to you about it tonight. This is your day planner for the Port Lavaca area. Starting at 79, getting up to only 88 degrees. I mean, it's almost cold. We're looking for scattered showers around the area and clouds in and out through the day. Same thing in Cuero. They're getting up to 90 degrees, but look for shower activity to be popping during the afternoon hours, generally in the afternoon hours, and then it all decreases at night. But then we look for the long term, and we've got that 40% for Friday, and then 20% for Saturday, and then plain old sunny and hot as we get into the early part of next week. So enjoy that weekend because the heat index is going to be rising back up into the 115 category by the middle of next week. So we're back into the heat wave next week. For tomorrow, if you find a little shower, just follow it around. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. We'd love for you to scan that and put Crossroads Today on your phone. We'll toss it back to Don.
Mac, thank you. Sports Director Gino Perez is here. And Gino, watch out. Here comes the World Series champion Astros.
Yeah, I mean, they're on fire, but we have the latest on Astros star Jose Altuve. That's coming up after the break. At a Crossroads, the athlete of the week is currently on vacation, but before he left, he went out on a high note. The Generals are on an 8-game win streak, and it was kept alive in part by the contributions of Generals pitcher Braylon Owens. The former Elgin Wildcat said he came to Victoria to get live reps against real batters, work on his off-speed pitches, and to fix one of the biggest problems he has had in his young career.
Well, going into games, I just try to think about throwing strikes and honestly not letting anybody hit me, because that frustrates me, but also trying not to walk people, because that was like my biggest thing coming here is my walks. I walked a lot of people, so I came here to try to focus on that.
Owens goes to school in San Antonio and plays for the UTSA Roadrunners, where he hopes to be a role model to his younger brothers. The right-handed pitcher said having his family support is great, even calling himself a, quote, mama's boy, end quote. Owens has learned a few things from the summer ball program that he hopes to take back to the university.
I would say not being so stressed and uptight, and just to have fun and just pitch and not think about everything and think too much.
The 6'1" athlete was on fire on the bump, totaling 10 strikeouts and not allowing a hit through 6 innings of play. But since the Generals were up by 12, most thought the reason he was pulled from the game was because of the coach pulling him. But that was not the case.
My arm was a little tired, and I didn't want to push it too hard. But no, I actually asked him to pull me. So surprisingly, it's the first time, because usually I get mad at him for pulling me before the 7th.
Owens was recently named the Texas Collegiate League's first half-season pitcher of the year because of his accomplishments throughout the summer. The Roadrunner has high hopes for this team, including bringing home the TCL trophy back to Victoria. A no-hitter through 6 innings and multiple strikeouts are the reasons why Braylon Owens is the athlete of the week. And speaking of the Generals, they will look to keep that streak alive, and there is going to be a lot going on tonight at Riverside Stadium. If you're planning to attend, you may need to bring an umbrella and a purple shirt. The main attraction tonight will feature the Victoria Generals taking on the Brazos Valley Bombers. Both teams are 1-2 in the Texas Collegiate League, and of course they're rivals. After the game, the purple jerseys worn by the Generals will be auctioned off, with 100% of the profits going to fight Alzheimer's. Houston Astros second baseman Jose Altuve is being placed on the 10-day injured list. The two-time World Series champion has missed 2 games after injuring his left oblique, and the All-Star has missed 4 games with another oblique earlier in the season. Astros general manager Dana Brown said there is not any rush to bring him back, and that the best thing for Altuve right now is rest. The Astros take on the Seattle Mariners tonight at 7:10 in Minute Maid Park. That's your sports. Don, back to you.
Gino, thank you. We're back in a moment. A softball umpire in North Dakota, still growing strong behind the plate at 89 years young. Lee Ham is the oldest softball umpire in North Dakota. The 89-year-old Ham has been umpiring baseball and softball for just over 50 years. Lee, who has 15 grandchildren and 20 great-grandchildren, has officiated national tournaments and has been honored countless times for his dedication to his time behind the plate. Ham says he thinks he has maybe 1 more year as an umpire. I wonder if, I'd be interested to find out from him, how fans have changed over the years. Because sometimes fans, now the Little League games I covered around here, the fans were rooting for their teams, go team, and let's win.
He's talking about boo, Ref,
and all that kind of stuff. I would be interested to see what he would have to say.
I think everybody out of respect would say, oh, please, Mr. Ref, look at that again.
I'm sure they would. By golly.
You think?
Gee whiz.
Maybe.
He'll come around and pull your ear, you know. Listen, Sonny, I've been talking to you. That's terrific. And, you know, hey, he can bend over and dust the bases. That's pretty impressive, you know.
Keeps him fit.
I hope we can do that when we're 89. Anyway, folks, the rain was good. We're going to get a little bit more tomorrow afternoon. Don't, you know, bet on, you know, huge rainfall. I'm talking maybe another third to a quarter of an inch. And then on Saturday, just a lingering shower, because then we're going back into another heat wave for next week. I know that's not what you wanted to hear, but hey, it's July, remember? And then after July comes August. And that's when the summer is really the worst.
Well, thank you for that update, Mac. And thanks for joining us. We'll see you tonight for 25 News Now at 10. Have a good one, everybody.